Let's say good morning to our co-host. He is a 26-year member of the House of Delegates, former Deputy Revenue Secretary of the state of West Virginia, and a Vietnam War veteran, Mr. John Doyle.
Good morning, everybody.
Great to have you with us, sir.
Great to be here.
And now the regular Thursday co-host.
Oh, I'm overjoyed.
You know, we had Matt Harvey in yesterday, whose spot you took when Matt got nominated for the U.S. Attorney position for the Northern District. And when he came in, I said, now I'm going to think it's Thursday all day long. And you know, I did. Because I saw him, and I only would ever see him on Thursdays. And all day yesterday, I was messed up. Completely screwed me up there. Also, Mike Allers Jr., former school teacher.
I'm in the building.
Now in the building with donuts.
Oh, yeah.
I want to... this is as good of a government program as I've ever heard. This took place in 1948. I am not making up a single word of this. An Idaho Department of Fish and Game program in 1948 decided they had to relocate beavers. This became known as the Beaver Drop. This is how they did it. They had to relocate beavers from northwestern Idaho to central Idaho. Here's how they did it here, by airplane. They parachuted the beavers into the Chamberlain Basin by attaching parachutes to the beavers and dropping them into the basin.
Now, wait a minute.
How did they get out of the parachute?
My military training is coming back.
Yes, sir.
Were the beavers required to go to jump school before they were dropped?
It doesn't say.
Did they have a heart attack in like midair?
I want to know how they separated from the parachute when they got
That's
to the
what,
ground.
yeah.
Or did they just run around for life with a parachute thinking, boy, the drag on this thing is killing me.
Oh, my God.
I'm not making that up. That's in Today in History, 1948. An Idaho Department of Fish and Game program to relocate beavers known as Beaver Drop occurred. The program relocated beavers from northwestern Idaho to central Idaho by airplane and then parachuting the beavers into the Chamberlain Basin.
Now, maybe what they did is parachuted boxes and then opened the boxes and let the beavers out.
Well, I hope they didn't do it that way because I would have loved in 1948 to look up and see a bunch of mini parachutes with beavers coming on, falling onto your house, into your car.
Oh, my gosh.
Mike Allers Jr. said they should have put him on a bus, and that's where our next guest comes in. Thank you for the transition, Mr. Allers. Eric Keesecker, Director of Transportation, Berkeley County Schools. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I was hoping that wasn't a segue into student transportation.
As it turned out, it was.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to parachute students in, but that was nice.
Maybe the bad ones.
I want to know who placed that parachute order. I need 5,000 tiny parachutes. Yeah. Eric, 20 years on the job. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
How did you end up coming to work for Berkeley County Schools?
Actually, when I graduated Shepherd College, I had a business degree.
It was college back then, right?
Yeah, it was Shepherd College in 1991.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Went to work for a couple major corporations, Pepsi, Kraft, Anheuser-Busch. Basically, didn't like where I was at. I was living in Pennsylvania, came back home. I was born in Berkeley County, went to Hedgesville High School. Just didn't like where I was at in life, and a lot of my family was in the school system. My dad worked for Berkeley County. My sister, my uncle was a phys ed teacher. So it was kind of natural just to go back into the school system. So I decided to get my degree in special education. So I taught special ed students for 6 years. And then with my transportation background, the job came open at the transportation department. So it was kind of a marriage in heaven for me, you know, having the school background and a transportation background.
And we're getting ready to go back to school on the 19th.
We are.
So you're pretty busy right now.
Every employee at the transportation department has a phone to their ear right now.
Are you short of drivers this morning?
You know what? We are in a much better spot this year than we have been in the past few years. We have a driver for every bus.
Oh, this is first in a few years.
A few years since 2020. Yeah. So we hit the recruiting trail pretty hard this past year. We've had some successful recruiting events with people being able to come out and drive a bus. So that's really worked for us. We do have some subs, but we're still short. I mean, we could use at least 15 more substitutes. on a daily basis.
How do they contact you if they'd like to become a substitute bus driver?
They can either call our office at 304-267-3575. Anyone will talk to them about that. But the best way is to go on our website, berkeleycountyschools.org, hit the careers tab, and scroll down to where you'll see the new school bus operator, substitute bus operator. You fill out an application. As soon as they submit, it comes to us. We'll call within a day or two to schedule an interview.
What are we paying bus drivers this year?
$142.45.
And you'll work how many hours for that?
Basically 5.
That's not bad.
Not bad.
A morning run, afternoon run?
Morning run, afternoon run. 2.5 to 3 hours per run.
Yeah, very good.
It's pretty good.
And that's the substitute rate as well?
That's the beginning rate. Yep.
Okay.
And then each year that you stay with us, it goes up a tier.
How long does it take to become a certified bus driver?
It depends on how much effort you want to give, but we have some folks who can get it done in 5 weeks. Others, I guess, based on their availability, it could take 2 to 3 months.
Mr. Doyle.
How many buses do you have in the Berkeley County school system?
We have total buses, including spares, we have 289.
289 counting spares. How many routes do you have?
243.
Okay, so I'll do the arithmetic in my head, and that'll tell me how many spare buses you have.
46. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
I'm here to help.
It's interesting that, West Virginia has come up, the Department of Education has come up with, they have to be accountable for transportation, so they have key indicators, and one of the key indicators is the amount of spares that you have.
Okay.
So it's really interesting because we have to stay between 20 and 25% of our fleet has to be spares.
Gotcha. That's so. What is the let's say through the entire school year? How many buses would break down once, or do you have that in your head?
I would say an educated guess, maybe 20% of those.
Okay.
Now, I will say this: our Board of Education, they do a great job of letting us buy as many buses as we can with the money that we get from the state.
Okay.
So we actually have probably one of the youngest fleets in West Virginia.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
Mike Allers Jr.
Yeah. So as a former teacher, had great relationships with the bus drivers. What is the number one problem facing this recruitment shortage? Is it the pay, or is it the regulations with how many weeks you have to put in? What is the driving factor? Because I believe when I worked in Frederick, Maryland, I think the average rate was like $12 an hour.
Right.
Which I always said, okay, if you're entrusting somebody to be in charge of kids, it should be a lot higher.
$12 an hour.
Then Chick-fil-A pays more than that. So
Right.
how can we fix this problem?
Well, I want to say a portion of it is pay, just by where we're located, because we're located in an area where, like you said, we're facing constant.
Amazon was stealing all your drivers from
yeah.
you.
Amazon. I mean, the dump trucks. The dump truck companies are paying a lot more money.
Would this locality pay push solve that problem?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. And we're fortunate that this county pays a little bit higher than all the counties around us. So part of it's pay, but also part of it is, I think people have an anxiousness about driving a bus because
Sure.
you're driving a 40-foot vehicle with 60 kids on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is why the pay should not be
right
$12 an hour or whatever.
Right. We're actually one of the legislative updates that we're sending is a step pay for bus operators. That when, if you're there so many years, you get a bump. If so many more years, you get another bump until it's a 3-step process.
Also, the age of the buses, is that also a problem?
No.
In terms of okay, so in terms of somebody driving it that might be a little scared because the bus might be 20 years old.
Oh no. We have our cycle is 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So and our buses we in 2007 we decided to streamline our buses and go with one bus manufacturer, so that when you get in the bus, it's very familiar, no matter what age it is.
And they're all automatic transmissions now, too.
All automatics. And guess what? We're getting our first delivery in October with air conditioning.
Oh, AC on the buses. No more.
Alrighty.
Yep.
The old-fashioned AC was to click those windows down.
Yeah. We decided we have a much more robust summer school program now. So we're averaging about 70 buses on the road in the summertime with kids on them. So it just made sense to go with air conditioning.
You were telling me before the interview started, and we're talking with Eric Keesecker, Director of Transportation, Berkeley County Schools, that while we look and see the same yellow-looking school bus we've seen since we were kids, that there's been some improvements to the engines that have helped you folks save some money.
Oh, absolutely. We were looking at past fuel mileage, and the older buses, the older diesel engines, just they would get 4 or 5 miles to a gallon. When we did the latest comparison, we're up to about 10 miles per gallon on the engines that we have now. We buy exclusively Cummins engines, and they've done a great job.
The electric bus kick that was supposed to revolutionize the school bus industry a couple of years ago didn't exactly take off.
No, it did not.
Did Berkeley County Schools ever entertain the purchase of any electric school buses?
We did actually. The reason why we didn't was because of the cost to the county. Now we were given so much for an incentive to buy the electric bus, which is 2 of them. The cost of a electric bus was $420,000.
And a regular diesel engine bus is
$150.
So you can get 3 for 1, basically.
And it just didn't make sense because not only is you have the cost of the bus, you have the cost of the infrastructure that has to be put in, because they take specialized chargers. And so we were speaking with Potomac Edison, and they were great because they were like, well, we can do this, but there's so much cost to that infrastructure, and you have to have it in a different spot, and the fact that you were only getting 100 miles per charge on a bus.
And what's a typical route mileage-wise?
More than that.
So it's like driving with a quarter tank of gas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not even.
So I've never understood why my friends who have electric cars, including the Admiral, Bill Stubblefield, there's no transmission, there's no engine, there's just the battery. There's a lot less parts, fewer things to go wrong. So then why does it cost 3 times as much as a gasoline or diesel-powered engine?
And that's what's, Rob, that's what's interesting. Apparently, and this is what I'm reading, the auto industry is convinced that this is the wave of the future. They're shifting, even though the subsidies are being pulled, they're still shifting more of their production to electric cars and electric SUVs and trucks. I do think this is coming, and I just think it is a case of over the last few years, it was too soon. The technology had not advanced to the point where it was cost effective to buy it. But I think before too long it will be, and I do think you'll see electric school buses. And you're right, Mr. Keesecker, unless you have a fleet, it's not going to work.
Right.
You can't just have 3 or 4 and all the rest be diesel engines. If you're going to make it work, it's going to have to be a fleet.
Oh, absolutely. And I agree with you. I think it's in the future that it goes to electric. However, you're right. The technology is not there yet, because it's just you have to have the mileage component with that.
Well, it's the affordability too. I mean, the green revolution would have worked if it was affordable. Like not,
$450,000 for a school bus.
And what is it for? I don't know. A Tesla starts at like 75,000 or something like that. Like I
think they're coming out with a low cost model within
They are.
the year.
It is going in that direction, Mike. It really is. But you're right. It didn't happen as quickly as a lot of people thought.
Yeah. So Eric Keesecker is our guest, Director of Transportation in Berkeley County Schools. And if you'd like to, I think, as Eric said, they've got enough full-time bus drivers, but they need some subs. And again, to get in touch with you, how do you do that?
Call our office at 304-267-3575 or go to the Berkeley County Schools website and click the Careers tab and scroll down to where you see new substitute school bus operator. Fill out an application.
If we could go back to salaries for a minute,
Sure.
I just thought of something.
$142 a day.
Yeah, I do remember that. Thanks,
Yes,
Rob.
I'm here to help, like I said.
I know. I depend on you. I don't know why, but I do.
I'm a facilitator.
Yes, you are. Back when I was on the finance committee, and before I retired for the second time in the legislature in 2012. So from like 1992 to 2012, it was interesting that in terms of salaries, even back then we were talking about locality pay for teachers and also for like troopers and school service workers and all that. For some reason during that period of time, our school service employees' salaries were competitive with those of neighboring states. Virginia, Maryland, even Loudoun County back then. They were the only employees we had where, the people were actually lined up to be bus drivers back then. So, Eric, is it similar to that now? Or I think you mentioned locality pay would help. What has happened in the meantime? Since I left 15 years ago or whatever it was.
I think the growth in our county,
Yeah.
the opportunity to make more money,
Yeah.
at something else.
Okay.
Yeah. I really truly believe that. I started at transportation in 2006, and it wasn't until 2017, 18 to where we saw the decline.
Got it. Okay.
And every other county, even in Maryland, Virginia, is just, when it comes to progress, they're just blowing us by.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that don't want to advance that progress and catch up as well. So it's frustrating.
So, Eric, there's opportunities during the school year for bus drivers to make additional money. That's transporting activities, teams, and such. You got a football game across town that someone's got to drive you there and drive you back. There's other activities as well that requires transportation. Can you talk about some of that extra pay?
Sure. At any time that a bus driver is driving a bus with students on it outside of their AM or PM route, we pay hourly wage for it. So it's based on seniority. We have a seniority list. So when an event comes up, as a matter of fact, Tyler Boswell does our trips. So we have a meeting once a month with all the trips that the schools have put in, and you get to choose from those. We also have now when you get a little bit of seniority under your belt, we have what are called middays. So that's transportation between like Rumsey and the school. We're doing a lot with Blue Ridge now and Shepherd University. So we transport students back and forth during the day.
All right. So with school being August 19th being the first day, if I recall that correctly, what's going on preparation-wise, what now with your drivers and your school buses to get them ready for the first day?
We began our professional development on Monday. We have meetings all week. The times that we do not have meetings, the school bus drivers are required to work on their routes and call parents.
So they work on a route. The route's already been developed for them, correct? Do they take a run on the route before school starts?
Yes. Monday, don't be surprised if you see a bunch of yellow school buses on the road. Monday, they are required to run their route and make sure that any adjustments that have come up since the last day of school last year, that we need to know that so we can change it.
Does each bus have an aide?
No, only our special education buses have aides.
Okay. And your special education drivers, do they typically drive only special education?
Yes.
All right.
Now, we have, there are over 4,000 special education kids in our county. We transport about 750 of those on specialized buses.
And typically, how long do you retain a driver now that things have kind of settled a little bit?
We've had more retire than we've had resign in the past few years.
That's better.
Yeah, we're getting much better. We really are. I think that people are seeing that, an opportunity to work for the school system. It's a pretty good job. It's stable, and you basically you drive a bus 180 days a year, and you're on a 200-day contract, and you work 5 to 6 hours a day.
Morning run?
Afternoon run.
Do most bus drivers take their bus home?
I know we have. Now, I've had to be a little lenient on our what we consider to be an okay number of miles to be away from your bus run, but we're growing so fast that our parking lot cannot hold all of our buses. So I'd say about 40% of the drivers take their bus home.
You said you had 269 buses, or 289? 289.
289.
Right now. What was the count 20 years ago when you took this job, roughly?
Oh, wow. I started with the special ed routing. We had 18 special ed routes. We're up to 70 on special ed routes. There were, I think, 80 bus runs, gen ed bus runs. Now we're up to 172, I believe.
What is required of the bus driver on the bus and the behavior from the students?
What is, I'm not sure I understand the question.
So things happen on a bus.
Okay.
Bus driver doesn't have an aide. Bus driver's trying to drive the bus. What's required of the bus driver in a situation where an incident occurs? Maybe something that would require the bus driver's attention for safety purposes, student altercation, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then what are the requirements that are clear to the students when they board the bus, that they understand what their responsibilities are?
Okay. If there's a situation on a bus that requires the driver's attention, they're instructed to pull over at a safe spot. Every bus has a two-way radio. They are to call us, inform us of what they're doing, and depending on what the behavior is, we'll either call the police or we'll get in touch with the principal of the school for assistance, and we'll go to assist also. The rules, the rules for behavior on a bus are in the student handbook, mm-hmm. which is given to every student, and they're also on the bus itself. So it's very well known what the students are, what the expectations for student behavior is, and that's one of that's one of the responsibilities of the school bus driver at the beginning of the year, is to go over that.
We heard in the classroom, and Mike, your time in the classroom, you might vouch for this or not, but we had heard discipline in the classroom was one of the biggest issues in schools, and it would stand to reason that that would then also be the same situation on a bus.
Yes, I don't think we get quite the behavior on a bus that you would in a classroom, but we get great support from our principals and our admins in the schools when a driver has to write up a student.
Because they kind of get them sleepy and then tired at the end of the day. So
Right.
Technically, it's
Right.
not as, when I was a teacher, we would get them when they had food and time to wake up.
Oh, the sugar was cruising through.
Exactly.
Right.
Or breakfast pizza.
Couldn't have gotten through college without breakfast pizza, baby. Yeah. How often do you turn over your fleet in general? What percentage of your buses do you replace every year?
We replace, actually the funding, the funding has stayed about the same, but the prices of buses have gone up.
Of course.
We were buying about 18 buses per year about 4 years ago. Right now we're right around 15. So we're buying about 15 buses a year.
Okay. We've got about a minute left. Final thought is yours, Eric.
Final thought is mine. Well, if to the radio listening audience, please be aware that we are going to have yellow school buses on the road. Pay major attention between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. and 5 p.m.
Don't pass a school bus.
Do not pass a school bus.
Do not pass a stop school bus, I should say.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact,
You'll have to deal with Eric.
No, you'll have to deal with the magistrate court now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because they've changed how they do business. So if we have to turn it into the magistrate court now.
Oh, very good. Well, don't pass a stop school bus, and you won't have to deal with that.
Right.
And hopefully, if you're safe, we don't want any kids being hurt or killed because
Yep.
you're late for your meeting. Eric, thank you very much. We appreciate your time this morning. Have a great school year.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Eric Keesecker. We are back with more after these.